Okay, weirdos. Let's get on with some news. The failure of an underground cable at a Seco Energy substation sparked outrage after an early morning outage darkened the villages. The first outages were reported shortly before 5 a.m. Wednesday for about 2,500 Seco customers in the village, including the village of Rio Grande, village of Terra del Sol, and the village of Della Vista and Bridgeport at Laurel Valley. Seco reported that all customers' power was restored at 9:14 a.m. Seco blamed a failed underground cable at the Lake Ella substation. Plenty of villagers were upset and angry over the outage. In all my travels throughout the U.S., I have never came across a worse electrical distribution company, said Sandra Bonder of the village of Rio Grande. Instead of setting up a proper phone answering service or updating the infrastructure, Seco has chosen to become a fire department. Yep, just putting out fires, said Bonder, who purchased her home in 2013. She added that the Lake Ella substation has been outdated since the day it opened. Well, those are kind of harsh words for a simple outage of electricity. Good Lord, man. Lighten up a little bit. These things happen. Jeez, get your panties in a wad. The village's board approves $3.385 million purchase of ambulance and equipment. A jury of Sumter County has found a Wildwood man guilty of having sex with an underage teen at a town square in the villages. Nathan Duckworth Withers, 29, was found guilty Wednesday by the jury on a charge of unlawful sexual activity with a minor. He was arrested in the case in 2019. Employees at Cody's Original Roadhouse at Brownwood became aware that Withers had sex with a 17-year-old girl, according to a arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. The employees told their manager what had occurred, and the manager contacted law enforcement. Withers was a former dishwasher at Cody's at the time of the sexual activity. The 17-year-old told police that she and Withers had sex twice and said it had occurred at Brownwood Paddock Square. What? And nobody saw anything? What? Good God. Withers admitted he had sexual intercourse with the girl and that he knew she was 17 at the time. He said he had sexual intercourse with her one time, not twice as she claimed. Well, that makes a big difference. Massachusetts native claimed the second incident was heavy cuddling without sexual intercourse in 2014. A case of sex on the square at Lake Sumter Landing generated headlines around the world. Both the man and woman were sentenced to 6 months in jail in that case. And City Fire came up with a drink to profit on that. It was called Sex on the Square. Remember? I remember. More than 100 offers of memorabilia for First Responders Recreation Center. They're going to end up doing there what they did at Eisenhower when all the military volunteered to donate all that stuff inside of Eisenhower. It's more like a museum almost, and they'll do the same thing down there with that one. I got nothing against it. I think it's a great idea, but that's what it'll end up being. You're going to end up getting a lot of visitors going in there like it's a museum. An arrest warrant is offering details about a villager's son alleged harassment of his estranged lady friend. Gary Thomas Wilcox, 60, was taken into custody at about 7:30 p.m. Monday at 2707 Pravada Drive in the village of Alhambra on Lake County. Warrants charging him with burglary, with battery, criminal mischief, and violation of an injunction. The Milford, Connecticut native initially refused to come to the door, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. After several minutes, he eventually surrendered. He was booked without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. A rear-end collision in a roundabout snarled traffic Wednesday afternoon near Savannah Center. Two vehicle crashes took place shortly after 3 p.m. at the roundabout at the intersection of El Camino Real and Buena Vista Boulevard. There did not appear to be any injuries. However, the vehicles remained in the roundabout for about 10 minutes, creating confusion for other drivers. The civilian traffic investigator from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office arrived on scene and directed the cars involved in the accident to the Savannah Center parking lot. The driver who caused the crash was cited for improper lane change. Both vehicles involved in the crash had Florida license plates. One vehicle had a handicap placard. Be careful, especially in snowbird season. I sometimes wonder how these people drive from, say, New York down to Florida without killing themselves. They show a 73-year-old habitual traffic offender was arrested after he was found to have a cold beer in his vehicle. Stephen Columbus Brook, 73, of Fruitland Park, was driving a red Ford utility vehicle at about 4 p.m. Tuesday on Picciola Road, P-I-C-C-I-O-L-A, Picciola Road, when a Fruitland Park police officer ran his license plate and learned the vehicle's registered owner has a revoked license. The check revealed his driver's license has been revoked for convictions of driving under the influence and refusal to provide a breath sample. He also has previous convictions for driving while license suspended. Woof. Of course. During a traffic stop, Brooks said he was going to get groceries and his wife was unable to drive, according to an arrest report. The officer spotted spilt beer on the floorboard of the vehicle. The officer noted on the arrest report that the beer was ice cold. A United States Postal Service contractor has been charged with stealing villagers' outgoing holiday mail from postal stations. Miranda DeLee Merle, 25, had a postal key and was delivering mail from the Lady Lake Postal Station to multiple postal stations for half a dozen years. The contract was held by Fillet's mother. Fillet's parents went to the Lady Lake postmaster and asked for a meeting after finding several tubs of undelivered mail in their daughter's bedroom. Mail was turned over to the postmaster. On November 23rd, the parents went to Alhambra Postal Station to confront Fillet. At the postal station, they found more mail in their daughter's car. An enraged villager was arrested after he was left behind by his girlfriend at an area bar. Made her mad, huh? Law enforcement officers were called late Thursday night to a home in the 700 block of Truman Avenue after a 911 call was received from the residents on the historic site of the Villages. A dispatcher at the Lake County Sheriff's Office Communications reported hearing a scuffle before the line went dead. When Lake County Sheriff's deputies arrived on the scene, they found a chair knocked over in the driveway. A woman who lives at the home was found at a neighbor's house. The woman had a swollen right cheek and dried blood on her face. She had scraped elbows and blood on her palms. She said she had gone to the county line bar on County Road 25 and gotten into an argument with her on-again, off-again boyfriend, 57-year-old Therese Childers. She said she left him at the bar. The only thing I got to say is, you picked him, except for in the village of Silver Lake. It's on the historical side. I've said it before, that village up there, Silver Lake, at one time that was a real nice area up there, but over the years, it's I wouldn't recommend anybody buying anything in there myself. But I don't know what kind of district rules they got there, but apparently not very good ones. Developer reports water levels subsiding at Village of Hawkins walking path. Brand new neighborhood and the walking path wasn't installed correctly and it floods. Remember our last news report, I was reporting things that happened down in Coleman, where the Coleman prison's at, and there's a town there called Coleman. And I said the reason why I was reading that report is because the people that live in Coleman, they'll have access to all the newer areas down there also, like your squares when they build them and all that kind of stuff. They can just walk in there, and it's just, you need to know, kind of keep your eye out. You know, don't walk around and not know what's going on around you. Well, here's a report. A Coleman man who served time in connection with a 2014 burglary in the Villages has landed back behind bars. Daryl Patrick Harrison, 28, was driving a black Honda at about 3 p.m. Thursday, westbound on County Road 466, when a fellow motorist witnessed an apparent altercation in the vehicle. The motorist believed Harris struck a female passenger, according to a arrest report from the Sumter County's office. They called 911. A deputy initiated a traffic stop at the Sherman-Williams store at 10936 North US 301. Harris admitted he had been arguing with the woman, but claimed nothing physical happened. Harris was arrested on a charge of battery. He was also issued a citation for having a child in the car that was not restrained. Harris was arrested in 2014 after a burglary in the village of Bridgeport at Meona Shores. The house was burglarized while the couple slept. He was sentenced to 10 months in jail. He was arrested in 2016 in connection with a theft at Buffalo Ridge Plaza in the Villages. Unpaid fines piling up at home in the Villages that was occupied by squatters. Yeah, I don't know what's going to do about it. Villager sentenced in golf cart road rage altercation. Golf cart road rage. Oh, gosh. Villager has been sentenced in a golf cart road rage altercation. John William Marcus, 70, who lives at 1458 Abercrombie Way, was arrested December 5 at the Fishhawk Recreation Center. In Sumter County, deputies arrived at the Recreation Center on Buttonwood Way. They found Marcus with his fist raised in an aggressive manner with a person on the phone with 911 dispatch. Deputies noticed the New Jersey native had a fixed blade knife in his back pocket. Marcus had been traveling in a golf cart on St. Charles Place when he gestured for occupants of a second golf cart to pass him. When they attempted to pass his golf cart, Marcus sped up. Due to his odd behavior, the occupants of the second golf cart opted to stay behind Marcus's golf cart. When they reached the intersection of St. Charles Place and Pennycamp Drive, Marcus got out of his golf cart and approached the second golf cart. He slapped the plastic curtain on their golf cart and demanded they get out, according to the arrest report. They asked Marcus to step back and return to his golf cart, but he instead began yelling profanities at him. He used his forearm to push the abdomen of a woman from the second golf cart. They fled to the Fishhawk Recreation Center and dialed 911. Marcus reached the recreation center and approached them in an aggressive manner and threatened violence. "I will kick your ass," he said. That's so manly of you. Marcus was arrested on a charge of simple assault last week in Sumter County. He entered a plea of no contest in the case and was placed on 6 months probation. Marcus had been arrested on June 4, 2017 on charges of battery and criminal mischief after breaking the bifocals of a fellow villager during an altercation over dog excrement in the village of Liberty Park. At the time, Marcus told deputies, "I just snapped." He was ordered for 8 hours of anger management, 20 hours of community service in that case. Well, I got to tell you, what he's done is totally wrong, and, I don't know how to explain any of that. But this thing about walking around a neighborhood and letting your dog take a crap in somebody else's yard, I don't care that you pick it up. I really don't care. To me, that is just total disrespect to the owner of that property. Actually, your dog just trespassed. That's not your property. It's not a walking place for pets to poop everywhere. But for some reason here, it's part of the lifestyle. You got to get used to that. I've gotten used to it, but I don't like it. Just saying. If you don't know about that, that has got people to get into a lot of major fights over you walking your dog down the street. And a lot of these snowbirds don't even pick it up. They'll walk their dog really late at night, and then next day you get up, you walk out in your yard, there's a big pile of craps. Newly hatched eaglet spotted at well-known nest in the villages. That's probably that nest that they have up there at the, I know there's one up there at the where they have the big high-tension power lines, the big steel structures that hold the power lines up. There's that big nest on top of one of them. I've seen it. It's been there for years. They keep adding to it year after year. This is beginning to start our spring already. The sandhill cranes are already nesting. They have eggs in their nest as of now. They have pictures of several of nests already. So give it a few more weeks and we'll have baby chicks walking around already. The village is cracking down on unauthorized signage. You're not allowed to have signs in your front yard. People know that. The villages is cracking down on unauthorized signage. The district office is reminding residents that balloons, ribbons, yard sale signs, and any other materials attached to the street signs can cause damage and are not permitted. In addition, signs are not permitted on district property, including right-of-way areas, in cul-de-sacs, or in roundabouts to ensure the safety of motorists, pedestrians, and property. Signage can cause distraction to motorists and cause a line of sight problems. That ain't no kidding. Well, the last thing you want to do is distract any of these old duffers around here from driving in a roundabout. Hell, they can't drive in a roundabout on a sunny day. Oh, that wasn't correct, was it? Oh, I'll get comments about that. A snowbird won't be prosecuted in an intoxicated attack on a police officer at a town square in the villages. Wow, he must have got a good lawyer. Prosecutor's office announced this past week that 67-year-old Douglas Raymond Behrens of Beecher, Illinois, will not be prosecuted on charges of battery on a law enforcement officer and disorderly intoxication. The court case was resolved without prosecution as Behrens successfully completed a treatment program. He was arrested September 7th after a bartender at Spanish Springs Town Square flagged down a police officer and reported that an intoxicated male had entered her drink hut and also attempted to step on stage at the gazebo. The officer asked Behrens to speak with him and step away from the crowd. Instead, Behrens balled up his fist, pushed the officer in the chest, and took a swing at him. Good Lord. Oh man, you're lucky he just didn't taser you right to the ground. The officer attempted to handcuff Barnes, who stands 5 foot 11 inches, weighs 191 pounds. However, Barnes pulled away from the officer. The officer took Barnes to the ground, but Barnes continued to struggle with the officer, who suffered a laceration to the head. He lives in the village of Osceola Hill. You know, it seems like Osceola Hills gets mentioned quite a bit on here. Like, I don't know why that would be. Osceola Hills is a great neighborhood. It's down here by Brownwood. So he's up there at Spanish Springs. I don't know if he drove a golf cart or what, but that's clear to the other side of the villages. Public hearings set this week in effort to clean up out of compliance homes. So see what kind of rules they come up with there, and see if each district has to accept the rules to be applied within that district. I don't know. We'll see. A villager has registered a new address after she was forced out of her man friend's house after an alleged attack on him. Deanna Lynn Miller, 74, who had resided for several years at 1957 Glen Mount Court in the village of St. Charles, is facing a charge of aggravated battery following the arrest December 16th at the man's home. She remains free on $100 bond, which was posted by a Summerfield man. Ooh, another one? Miller recently registered a new address with the Sumter County Clerk's office. The address is a post office box at Village Pack and Ship, County Road 101. Miller and the man with whom she had been living with argued when she threw a cup of water in his face, according to the arrest report of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Miller went to strike him on the side of the head with the cup, which was described in the arrest report as a clear, hard plastic cup. Oh, gosh. These people are retired. You come down to Florida's friendliest hometown. Volunteers needed for POA's 2022 shredding event. Yeah, at least once or twice a year, they have that shredding event where you can take all your sensitive papers that you don't really want to throw in the trash. You know, maybe old checks, maybe old doctor prescriptions and things that's got personal information on it. You can take it up there securely and they will shred it for you. The village's construction boom to include 4 new neighborhoods with 500 homes. That's nothing new. They usually approve them by the thousands. The village's reclaims top spot as nation's #1 master planned community. I know they average about 250 or so brand new homes a month, and about the same for pre-owned homes every month. The Villages has reclaimed the top spot as nation's #1 master planned community. The Villages has wrested the #1 spot from Lakewood Ranch, which rose to the top spot last year for mid-year sales. Villages doesn't post mid-year sales. So that was, they were reaching out there. The Villages has notched 4,004 sales in 2021. That is 65% greater than the pace last year. More demand here. You got that right. Villages has notched 4,004 sales for 2021. That's 65% greater than the year last year. And they were #1 last year. Lakewood Ranch reported 2,574 sales for 2021, falling to #2 in the ranking. Lakewood Ranch also offers a village concept. It's a multi-generational. It's not a retirement community at all. And that's the one thing that I know is that. The 20 villages each have their own style of amenities. The community boasts A-rated schools, trails, parks, and sports campus, farmers market, golf and country clubs, resort-style pools, shopping, and dining. Other top-selling master plan communities for 2021 were Summerlin of Las Vegas. They sold 1,619 homes. Cane Bay Plantation of Charleston, South Carolina, sold 1,147 homes. Ontario Ranch of Ontario, California. I wouldn't live in Ontario, California if you paid me. It's a dump. I'm sorry, but it is. There might be a good area there. I'm not saying that, but the area as a whole is pretty trashy. Ontario Ranch of Ontario, California, 1,070. Of course, it's been many years since I've been in Ontario. Maybe they cleaned it up over the years. I don't know. But it used to be, I wouldn't walk down the streets at night. A Los of Brownwood renter was arrested after crashing her golf cart when she got lost. Tina Renee Frost, 60, crashed her green Yamaha golf cart at about 8:30 p.m. Friday at a home in the 1600 block of Shell Point Avenue in the village of Mallory Square. According to an arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office, the crash broke a gas line at the home. A witness told deputies that Frost had nearly collided with another vehicle at Stillwater Trail and Odell Circle prior to the crash at the residence. Frost told deputies she was traveling to Brownwood from Lake Sumter Landing when she got lost. Frost repeatedly lost her balance during the field sobriety exercises. She provided 2 breath samples, both registered .115 blood alcohol content. She was arrested while driving under the influence. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. A villager was arrested after allegedly punching a woman in an apparent road rage incident. The woman was driving on County Road 466A in Wildwood at about 12:45 p.m. Thursday when a blue Mazda cut in front of her and began brake checking. According to the arrest report of the Wildwood Police Department, she said she almost rear-ended the Mazda several times due to the driver's erratic behavior. That brake checking thing is criminal. I've seen too much of that on the highway. I mean, that's criminal. You are purposely trying to hurt somebody. I think that should be dealt with severely. The driver got out of his car and confronted the woman. She had also exited her vehicle. That was dumb. Always stay in your vehicle. Lock the doors, stay in it. He open hand slapped her across the face and then pushed her, causing her to fall against the hood of the vehicle. He punched her in the face. She fell to the curb, hitting her head. Other motorists stopped to help the woman. Man said his name was Ron. He said he was sorry. He fled off the scene. The woman was transported to Ocala Health ER at Trailwinds Village. The Mazda license plate indicated the registered owner of the vehicle was 62-year-old Ronald John Palumbury, who lives at 4382 Watch Hill Street in the village of Osceola Hills. What's going on over there, Osceola Hills? An officer called Palumbury's wife, who agreed to convey the message to her husband. He later turned himself in to Wildwood Police Department. Palumbury told police he would not speak to them without a lawyer. That's smart. He was arrested on a felony charge of battery to a person over the age of 65. He was booked at Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $2,000 bond. A drunk driving suspect was arrested after leaving Margarita Republic at Spanish Springs Town Square in the Villages. I've said this before. Margarita has a lot of problems up there. Delane R.B. Ains, 22, of Fruitland Park, was driving a white 2018 Hyundai Tucson at 2:50 a.m. Nothing good happens after midnight. Sunday, when he ran a stop sign at Bachari Boulevard, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. An officer followed the vehicle and initiated a traffic stop near the Boone Gate at the historic side of the Villages. Ains was visibly impaired and admitted he had consumed too much alcohol to be driving, the report said. Don't never admit anything, kid. They got to prove it against you. Never admit anything. Deny, deny, deny. He indicated he had left Margaritaville. He was asked to participate in field sobriety exercises. He lost his balance during a one-legged stand and struggled through the other exercises. He refused to provide breath samples. Ains was arrested on a charge of under the influence, booked at Lake County Jail, and released after posting a $1,000 bond. Here is a letters to the editor about the recent dismissal of 2 of our elected officials at the Wildwood Commission's office that you guys, if you watch my videos, you already heard what I had to say about it, as much as I'm willing to say about it. It says, to the editor, like many other villagers, I was disappointed by the governor's actions to suspend 2 of our duly elected officials, Miller and Search County Commissioners, after they were accused, not tried, not convicted, of perjury. If you are an American who cherishes our values, you too should be upset about this overreach and interference by Governor DeSantis in our local election. Recent article gives a superb explanation with links to facts about this issue. He is spot on in his analysis and description. I agree with all what he had to say. Couldn't have said it better. And there's a link here for that. All Sumter County citizens, regardless of party affiliation, should be concerned about this usurpation of our election results. I don't think any of us should accept this type of abuse of power. That's sent in by Diane Ruggiero, Village of Osceola Hills. Well, I don't know all the ins and outs. Maybe the governor's hands are tied. I don't know what the rules and regulations of a governor are on certain issues, and I'm sure you don't either. Maybe there's something that says that he has to do that. You know, at least like a cop. If a cop is involved in a shooting, the first thing to do with the cop is he's basically laid off of work. He generally has to go home. Generally, he gets paid to go home, but he's not allowed to return to work until the investigation's over. It might come under something like that. Maybe these guys go home once the investigation's over. They might be allowed to go back and resume their seats. I don't know that. But I will say, and I've said it before, you got the developer. These guys were voted in to help take care of some of the problems we've been having here with the developer and the Wildwood Commission and with taxes and all this stuff. And now all of a sudden these guys disappear. You got Hague up there, which is a state representative of Florida, and he's on the payroll of the developer, which that to me sounds totally illegal, but apparently it's not. I don't know. I think these guys, it sounds to me like these guys have been set up and railroaded out of office. I'll go that far with it. Can't prove any of it. I don't think anybody else can either. But I'll agree with you on one thing. Something here doesn't smell right. If you guys are going to rent something down here in the villages, as we get bigger and bigger, the problems we never had before, we're starting to have a little bit of it here and there. You got the unscrupulous people that'll rent you something and promise you everything. And the pictures that you see, the pictures that they send you is not the right pictures. It's a picture of another house. And you know what I'm saying? Here's a little thing from some Canadians, and I'm kind of sympathizing toward the Canadians because my renters that I had at my house when I had a rental, they rented every January, February, and March off of me after that first year. And I never had a problem with them. They were super nice people. They would mail it. They remembered my birthday, and they would actually mail me a birthday card in the mail from Canada because they just remembered it. I mean, that's the kind of people they were. And so when I read something like this, it's like it makes everybody that does rent property here look bad. And there are some here that's bad. I tell people all the time, cover your butt, check it out, get facts. I don't know how to tell you to get facts on everybody, but a Canadian snowbird is sharing additional details of a nightmare villa rental in the villages. Jerry Burrows wrote a letter to the editor earlier this week describing his horrible experience with a rental on Ascot Loop in the Halaya Villas for November and December. I'm not sure where Halaya Villas are at. I don't know if it's a newer section, older section. I don't know. The Canadian is following up with a letter to the editor providing more details about the rental, which turned his fun in the sun vacation into a complete fiasco. He and his wife arrived November 9, and the first hiccup was an entry combination that did not work. Well, that's a minor thing. I can understand that happening. It's just a minor thing. That's not a big deal. Shouldn't be. The house was filthy. Linens and towels were in poor condition. During his stay at the villa, noises were heard in the attic. That was a great deal of feces in the attic where 2 live rats were captured. The odor was so bad in the garage, they chose not to park in it. The bathtub was so unusable as it was infested with ants. They finally left on Christmas Eve after nearly 2 months in this unbearable villa. While many rent happily in the village's friendliest hometown, there have been plenty of renters who have horror stories. Never used to be that way. I want to reiterate that. And this was a lot smaller. Never heard this kind of stuff. Jacqueline Hamilton O'Neill was arrested after defrauding renters from Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Canada during an investigation initiated by complaints to Seniors versus Crime detectives from Sumter County Sheriff's Office Financial Crimes Unit. Discovered that Hamilton O'Neill fraudulently rented the same residence to nearly 50 victims for the same or overlapping periods during the winter and spring. This is another person. She rented the place out to 3 and 4 people were showing up on the same week. Anyway, a villager was arrested after triple billing a snowbird for a rental in the village of Del Mar. Now that's up by Spanish Springs. That's an old neighborhood. When the landlord found out the renters had guests, the homeowner ordered the snowbird to provide him with the names and dates of birth of his guests. That's reasonable. You may not like it, but that's reasonable. Creekside Landing residents complained last year to the Community Development District 8 Board of Supervisors after a short-term renter was involved in an armed standoff with a SWAT team. Residents were under lockdown and prevented from returning to their homes for hours. I remember right on that case there, somebody rented this house up there at Creekside Landing. Great neighborhood, by the way. Location's great. And it was a bunch of contractors, workers, laborers. And there was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them that was in the same house. I forget what they actually went in there to arrest them for, drugs or something. I don't really remember. You could probably go back and find that story. But yeah, we're starting to have trouble with these renters. They're going to have to start doing something. Sexual predators are renting homes because the guy that owns a house lives in Milwaukee somewhere and they just don't care. You turn it over to a rental company that you think is going to take care of this, they don't care. All they care about is that check every month coming in. And they don't care about it being next door to me and a problem it causes me or anybody else. Know this when you do this. Sumter County Commission chair says business will move forward despite suspensions. Well, of course it will. Why wouldn't it? Has to. A 35-year-old girlfriend has been arrested in an alleged attack on her 75-year-old beau. Brittany Lee Devine was arrested Wednesday on a Lake County warrant charging her with felony charges of domestic battery and depriving use of 911. The warrant is the result of an attack on October on the 75-year-old man at a home on Happy Lane in Lady Lake, according to an affidavit of probable cause. Devine, who stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighs 200 pounds, punched a man with a closed fist, choked him, and locked him out of his residence. She was reportedly intoxicated. She hid his phone so he could not call law enforcement. They had been living together in an intimate relationship as boyfriend and girlfriend at the time of the attack, the affidavit said. She was taken into custody and booked at Lake County Jail. She was released after posting a $7,000 bond. Her estranged boyfriend turned 76 in December. Well, good for you. An Oklahoma man was arrested after allegedly damaging property after his grandmother refused to give him money. How about a job? The grandmother of 25-year-old Alan Mitchell Michael Aspinwall dialed 911 on Wednesday after her grandson picked up a shovel and struck multiple vehicles parked near her home, according to the arrest report from Lake County Sheriff's Office. One of the vehicles he damaged was his uncle's 1989 Corvette. Ooh, that's not good. Aspinwall also kicked in the front door of his grandmother's home, knocking it off the hinges. Aspinwall, who previously lived with his grandmother at her home on South Quarters Road, had apparently become enraged after she refused to give him money. He was arrested on 2 counts of criminal mischief. He was booked at Lake County Jail and released after posting a $3,000 bond. I wonder who posted that $3,000 bond. Grandma? See, that's the mistake right there. Let him sit. Let him rot. Get a shotgun, Grandma, sit next to the door, saying, baby, you come back over here and you act like that again, I'm going to shoot you. Grandma loves you. I'm going to shoot you. There's a letter to the editor. Hope it ain't crazy. Nope, it's pretty good. Letters to the editor. If the proposal to raise the village's amenities fees was introduced by the Board of County Commissioners, the village's Daily Sun would have been all over it. However, the Daily Sun, a classified ad newspaper on steroids, has chosen to ignore a story that affects all homeowners. Well, Gilbert, do you know why? These guys don't watch my show or they would know this. Anyway, that was sent in by Gilbert Windsor, Village of Bonita. Real quick, Gilbert, here's a lesson. The developer owns the newspaper. Nothing goes in it unless he says it goes in it. And if anything goes in there that's going to affect the sale of homes, it's not going to go in there. That being your math lesson of today, I'll see all of you. I'm going to ask you a question. Any of you guys that watch all of this now and you get to the end of the video, here's my thing. I'm working on the WNL show for this month already. And I had a little thought the other day. Remember, I had everybody send me pictures about their Christmas dog, the pictures that were taken, in their Christmas pets with Santa, things like that. Send me a picture of how you watch these videos. Send me a picture of how you watch WNL. Whatever you watch, I don't care. But just send me a picture how you do it. Do you watch it on your TV? Do you watch it on your iPad? Do you watch it on your cell phone? Have somebody take a picture of you or your pet or whoever watching the show and send it in. I'm going to see if I get enough of them, I want to put them together and try to come up with something for the show. I just thought it'd be fun. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. See all you guys on the other side.